Some men are definitely just not interested in settling down with one woman. Yeah, for some men, it is important for them. What adds value to their lives is having multiple women.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man Rico Hundo here at 8 at the Table, and we got a great guest today. But before I jump into that, you already know I gotta shout y'all out. That's my routine. Thank you for supporting, liking, subscribing, turning on your notifications, and commenting the good and the bad. We see it and we appreciate it. Now, back to our guest. I'm gonna have her introduce herself. Go ahead.
Hey guys, this is your girl Joy Daly, the multimedia diva. Ooh. And yes, that's right. I'm all over the internet, all over your TV screens. You can catch me on TMZ and you can catch me on joydaily.tv.
And you know what? I actually saw you on TMZ, right? I saw the clip that you posted. And I gotta say, I loved it.
Saying what she said about Kanye West. Now, I do believe that Julia Fox is a great girl. She has a banging body. Her face card's kind of weak. But I believe that her saying all this great stuff about Kanye being such a wonderful person and never harming a fly is her attempt to get...
I was like, wow, way to keep it real, like with whatever you believe.
Always 100% real. I can't wait to keep it real with y'all here today. I'm a fan of 8 at the Table. I love this show.
And we are a fan of you too. So look, keep it real with this. Pow. See how easy that was? Keep it real with this. Today's topic that we're gonna talk about is how do women keep or build their value for a relationship. Let's just put that out there.
Now, I think that this is a topic that I'm very happy to discuss because I do feel like the way our world works, people are always asking, what can a man bring? What does a man bring to the table? What does a man bring? What does a woman bring to the table? Women have to meet their man halfway. People need to acknowledge that. It's not just about what a man can provide and how much money a man makes. Women need to be adding value as well to a situation, a relationship, and more than just your looks. Looks are important because that attracts the man, but looks can only take you so far. At some point, the way that you support a man, the way that you provide for a relationship, because women should provide as well. All of that matters in terms of keeping a man.
Yep.
I mean, I said looks are not the most important thing because like I said, they're not the most important, but maintaining your looks and taking care of your body, that is extremely important to adding value to a relationship because you should, as a woman, you're supposed to keep yourself tight, but you're also supposed to encourage your man to do the same. Nobody wants somebody that is just not caring, that is on their way to death because they don't take care of themselves, right? So that is something that women do need to do to add value to a relationship.
And I'm going to say, like, what I think is when you do that, right, and we could say women or men, right, when you keep yourself in shape, you actually low-key provide a healthy pressure on your spouse, right? So it's like, you're looking great, right? And it's like, I'm slacking off. I'm like, yo, damn. I should kind of step my game up real quick, step my game up so I can at least match my spouse, right? For whomever it may be. And I think that at the end of the day, that is another thing that you're providing low key. See, subconsciously, you do one thing actually means multiple. And we kind of forget. And when you are, providing for yourself in a healthy aspect, you're actually providing tips and motivation for your spouse to be the same way.
Absolutely agree with you on that. Lead by example. Lead by example. Sometimes you can tell somebody all the things in the world, but if they see you living that life that you're preaching about, it makes 1,000 times difference.
Yep, I agree.
So yes, as women, we should definitely take care of ourselves. We should encourage our men to take care of themselves. And there are some other things that some people would say come off as a little sexist that I do believe that women should do to add value to a relationship. And another one of those things is definitely cooking. Yes, I mean, we're not in 1950 anymore, women, but you need to know how to cook something. No man wants to go out to eat for every single meal. No man wants to never get a home cooked meal. It is so important as a woman to learn how to cook. And it don't gotta be no,
I'm just dropping
you don't
tears.
gotta be
Go
a
ahead.
chef. You don't gotta be Gordon Ramsay, but you need to know how to make some eggs, you know.
Nah, we need more than eggs. You had me.
Eggs is
You almost
easy.
lost me.
Okay,
We need more than eggs.
Make some chicken.
Yeah.
Learn how to make some chicken
Yeah,
properly.
steak,
Some rice.
pasta.
You know, just the
good
basic,
pasta,
just
yeah.
the basic stuff. Go on YouTube, whatever you have to do, and don't just be like, well, oh, I have money, I can pay someone else to do it. It's about you doing it yourself. It's not about paying someone else to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I just said this before. It's like, this might sound sexist, but I really don't care. I'm being honest. The way my household works is I eat before I leave and I eat when I come back. You know what I'm saying? And usually they're not like, like hour in betweens. They're long gaps, right? I leave for breakfast, I come back for dinner. Boom. And that allows you to appreciate somebody because, like you said, when you're doing something versus paying for something, it adds different appreciation to it.
Value. It
Value,
adds value.
yeah.
It's like, I appreciate this meal. You put this together yourself, as opposed to, oh, you went out and bought something and brought it home.
You know what? Look, let me give the equivalent for those that don't understand. The difference between, I'm going to give you an analogy. The difference between a woman cooking for you, scratch that. Let me actually start over. The difference between your spouse cooking a meal for you versus buying you a dinner is, imagine if I bought you a gift and compare that to if I gave you the gift card. It's two totally different playing fields. You know what I'm saying? If I bought you the dress that you wanted versus I gave you a gift card to the spot to go pick out a dress, you're gonna feel different. And that's the same difference that men feel when a woman actually cooks for us. Or maybe a woman could feel when a man cooks for her. I'm not gonna be sexist on it. I'm just saying that, to disclaimers, but.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And just to continue into the domestic world, I think it's important for a woman to provide value in keeping a clean home. And this is one that I will excuse women who want to say, I'm going to pay somebody else to do it. Because guess what? I don't deep clean my house. I pay somebody else to do it. I maintain the deep clean.
Yep, yeah, okay.
But I'm not the deep cleaner. And there's
I
nothing,
respect that.
whatever you have to do, whatever means to the end, it is important for you to have a house that is clean and comfortable and relaxing and tranquil. And when a man comes home, they could be like, oh, I'm so relaxed. This is like Zen. Nobody wants to come home and see clothes all over the place and old trash and this and that.
Yep.
And you've been home all day or what? Yeah, we don't even care. You working or not working. Either way, that house needs to be nice and
yep.
clean and comfortable when a man comes home. Otherwise, you're going to lose some value.
Listen, I just thought about some fucked up shit, right? But I agree, like, when I was like 22 years old or 23, and this was bad, my mom, like, this is crazy because the roles were switched, right? My mom would come home and I didn't been home all day. I didn't have a job and shit. So and she's like, why is there dishes in the sink? And I was like, what you mean, why is there dishes in the sink? Like, and she was like, yo, clean, you've been home all day, clean something, do something, like, so I definitely get it. And it's just,
Yeah.
I just thought about it. But going back to the topic, so let's actually, let's dive a little bit more to the left, right? So we already touched on about domestic capabilities, which I agree. Mm-hmm. We also touched on, the physical attributes. Let's try to dive a little bit deeper, right? Because I do think that to some extent, right, the traditional roles of maintaining a healthy relationship still do come into play. I do believe that is a part of the blueprint. But in my opinion, and then you can just take this and go wherever you go, I think that a woman also provides value by providing knowledge and providing some type of capabilities to help build whatever the empire is.
Absolutely agree with you on that. of course, nobody wants a bum bitch, and nobody wants
I love you.
someone
Joy,
who
I love you so much because I can't say
is
that.
not intelligent enough to contribute. And all men want a woman who can help them to make money, help them to achieve their goals, help them to motivate them to want more. That is extremely important to add value to a relationship. A woman needs to be able to support her man intellectually and just, like I said, driving him to want to do better for himself.
Yeah.
That is extremely important.
And I mean, I was actually leaving the gym yesterday, and I was leaving the gym with my homie, and there was this girl who's bad as fuck in my gym, and we seen her. And he was like, yo, would you wife her? And I said, not knowing how she thinks, I would say yes, but depending on how she thinks, I could say no, because I can't deal with stupid. Like, right? I don't care how pretty you are or how, like, you can do everything in the world, but if you're not intellectually inclined, I can't deal with it. Like, that's just my threshold, right? So everybody has different things.
I was going to say that.
I want to challenge you, though. Because we see eye to eye in a lot, so I got to make it spicier for you. Actually, before I get into that, are you in a relationship right now?
I'm in a situationship, or what you would call an entanglement.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm in. I can't call it a relationship, but I'll definitely call it something.
All right, so look, tell us about that. Like, what, I asked this before, I'm going to ask it again. What is the what is the determining factors that is prohibiting it being a relationship and keeping it in the situationship?
Definitely not me. You know, I'm at the point where I'm definitely ready to settle down and be married and all of those wonderful things. However, the person that I got involved with has no interest whatsoever. They might be a bachelor for the rest of their lives. They might be one of those. Got a lot of women, so.
Okay. So, all right. So, damn.
Yeah.
How do you, so do you think a valuable woman and all the things that we just spoke about, could that change his mind, or do you think that's just how he is?
I think that some men are definitely just not interested in settling down with one woman. Yeah, for some men, it is important for them. What adds value to their lives is having multiple women madly in love. So there are men like that. I have men in my own family, 70-year-old uncle, still not married, still got different women all over the world, and you know, it happens.
So if you're dealing with somebody entertaining, right? Somebody who is also entertaining, right?
Right.
And is okay with that as of right now to this standpoint, do you think that you could potentially see yourself being open to maybe like an open relationship?
I don't think that's realistic for me. I think for me, what it's going to be is, you know, until I find something better, until I find someone who can treat me better, I will just be in the situationship that I am currently in.
It's a filler.
And then when I do find someone that treats me better, that has the same mindset that I have, that has the same want to be in a committed relationship, then that's how it's going to be. Now, for me, it's hard for me to get really close to someone else because I have someone that treats me so good, even though the situation is not ideal and it's not an actual relationship. But that makes it harder for me to date because I expect so much. I expect so much, and guys are willing to do so little. So therefore, it's very hard for me to establish a connection with someone else.
Do you think he's willing to do so little if he's good, or is he just willing to sacrifice a little? I think that's different.
In terms of like other guys that I might date?
Yeah, or like whoever it is that you're dating now that you're entertaining, if he's doing a lot right now that's actually keeping you around, right? But he's just not sacrificing one of his habits.
The most important thing.
The most important thing, which there are priority lists on different, things that everybody values differently.
Right.
Right.
Because to me, that is the most valuable things to me in a relationship is loyalty. And I think it is also one of the most rare things in a relationship. It's hard to find somebody that will be completely loyal to you, that you're like 100% attracted to. It seems to me like the guys that are willing to be very loyal are the guys that are extremely unattractive. Unfortunately for me. So.
That's called supply and demand. like, you can't listen.
Exactly.
But and you know that brought me to this point because I wanted to ask you, like, do you think it's realistic to accept the pros with the cons?
I think a lot of women settle. I think a lot of women.
That's why I don't like that word.
They settle because it's like you want to be treated a certain way. You want somebody that's loyal, that's only going to be with you and no one else. And sometimes you do have to sacrifice looks to get that. You might have to sacrifice looks. You might have to sacrifice status. You might have to sacrifice personality, money, all different types of things. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice something. You have to.
So then, this gets me to my point because it's like, yo, if somebody has every other thing that you want,
except for loyalty.
But who says loyalty and honesty is different?
Tell me the difference because I kind of thought those went hand in hand.
So like when you're being dishonest is when you're being unloyal. But if I'm being honest with you about all my options and other play, I'm still being loyal to you because I'm keeping it honest with you. I'm being real with you. I'm being upfront, and I'm giving you the conscious decision to do whatever it is that you want to do.
That is 100% correct. I think that that is so important, and to me, that does make it better. If somebody's just telling you like straight up, like I got this other woman, I got this other one. I talk to these women every single day. That's one thing. But when you are lying and sneaking and cheating and I got to be an investigative detective.
No, don't do that. Y'all are really good at that.
So I have been in this situationship for about 20 years.
Whoa. Stop. Joy, do not just do that. Like, don't do that, Joy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been in for 2 decades.
Yeah. Yeah, I've known this person, dealt with this person for 20 years, ever since I was a young girl, all the way up until now.
He must be a great guy.
I mean,
he has to be.
He got lucky in terms of, you know, he is the person that I chose to settle down with, but not in the sense of, I'm settling because this. I
get you, like
whatever.
The last option. Yeah, I get it. I hate that. You really liked him.
Yeah. I always really liked him, but again, you know, at this point, you know, he's become more honest about the type of person that I'm dealing with. Because I would say for a long time, I didn't know who I was dealing with.
Yeah, he didn't either.
Yeah,
he didn't know himself.
Yeah,
you know, it takes time.
So once I figured out who I was dealing with and he became more honest, then I could become more accepting. Because at that point, like you said, I had the ability to choose, do I want to be in this situationship or do I want to move on and find something else?
Let me ask you this question. How long, so you've known him for 20 years, I'm just trying to understand. You've known him for 20 years. At what point did it unfold that he was being honest with you about, you know, being open?
It unfolded that he was being honest after I had to find out everything for myself. Guys are not ever going to willingly tell you what they have going on.
Joy, stop it.
You so true. Wait, so you're telling me you're going to tell a woman up front now? Now, one thing I will say, he did always tell me, no, I don't want to be in a relationship. I started asking him to be in a relationship with me about almost 10 years ago. Every birthday, we would take a trip together, and I'd ask him to be my man.
Your birthday or his birthday?
My birthday. Right? My birthday, I'd be like, yo, come on, let's do this.
Joy, you really love him.
Yeah. And he would be like,
so
no.
Cute.
He'd be like, no, I don't want a relationship. I don't want a relationship. He always said he didn't want a relationship. He never said why. He'd just be like, yo, I'm not ready for that. I'm not in that place. So he never said why. So at some point, I ended up, you know, having a kid with him, right? So then...
Joy, Joy, you started this situationship like it was like fling, but go ahead.
Yeah, so
I'm
then
listening.
once
This is great, by
Once
the
we
way.
had my son, my only child, and his only child, then
How old is your son?
He's 3.
So this
3
is
and a half.
this is a recent baby. Okay.
Yeah. So at that point,
Now you're like,
that's I continue pressuring him to be in a relationship. Let's get in a relationship. There's a relationship. Finally said yes. We'll be in a relationship. But he didn't really want to be in one. Like he had
Gotcha.
been saying no for all this time. But I finally got him to be like yes. And then 6 months in, I see his phone laying on the table, and I'm like, man, I should look in the phone.
rule number 1, never do that.
I should look at the phone. I couldn't help myself. I went into the phone.
You fucked up.
It didn't take me 2 minutes to see all the women.
It was at the top of the thread.
Yeah.
I know, just me.
Yeah, and all the little the stuff he had going on. It was a lot. So at that point, I found out that he was like having sex with other women. He was having like actual relationships with other women. He was so dirty with it. Like for my son's 2nd birthday, we were he was with me and my son, but he had a woman staying at his house. And oh yeah, I hacked his phone. I hacked his Instagram, I hacked the Twitter, I hacked the Facebook, I hacked the email, I hacked everything. I hacked it all. I became an investigative journalist.
Shit, you was in for 2 decades. I'm hacking too.
Yeah,
Like,
I became
ain't
an
gonna lie.
investigative journalist. I found out every single thing, every single woman, everything.
And now you have to scratch that. Now you find a way to coexist because you have a child.
Because okay, once I found all this stuff out, like I said, at that point he had to start being honest.
But this is only okay.
He had to start being honest.
Joy, there's so much going on right now. There's so much going on. And
I've never talked about this,
I
much
just wanna
less
say that-
to talk about it to the world.
well,
Like,
thank you. We appreciate it. And honestly, can I be honest with you? To a certain point, I actually admire this, right? In some regard, relentless is always good in my book. When you want something, you go after it.
yes.
But unfortunately, sometimes if it's not happening, it's because it's not supposed to,
I agree with you.
right?
Absolutely.
Now, unless he got to be an Aquarius. I'm just.
He's a Scorpio.
Oh, we're the same people. Like,
You're a Scorpio?
Nah, I'm an Aquarius.
No, you're Aquarius. Yeah.
But we're the same people. It's very close.
Okay.
We're very close. But
Okay.
but what I'm gonna say is, it's like sometimes it's if a man doesn't want to get in a relationship, and I'm gonna be honest, as I'm assuming he's a high valued man.
Yes, to many women apparently.
Because men don't have many women if they're not.
If they're not,
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
If it's a high value man, you have to understand what you're dealing with, in the sense where now we're touching back on the loyalty thing. He could be loyal to you because just as much as you love him, a man could love you the same amount as well as explore other physical options, right? But that's where the loyalty lies in that, analogy. But the commitment point when we're talking about monogamy could not just work for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if that doesn't work for you, you got to draw a line too.
It
what I'm
does
saying?
not work for me, but like I said, I am currently dating. I am trying to meet other people.
You're a loving person. I can see it in your eyes.
But I'm gonna tell you something about dating as a older mother. Okay, guys are just not willing to do enough to keep my interest. Like, when you're an older mother, your time is very limited.
Yeah.
You do not have time.
Or a parent.
Or,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a
So
parent. Trust me, I know.
So right. So it's like, you want somebody who gets that and values your time,
Yeah.
and that is willing to show that they want to contribute something to your life. Now, it doesn't have to be financial. It could just be like being very supportive or helping you out with, anything that you might need. But I just feel like a lot of guys now, especially in the getting to know you phase, they're just willing to do very little.
Well, because women are doing very little. Like, I'd be 100%.
We're not adding value.
I'm not saying that y'all not adding value. I think everybody's value is different. I can't speak for everybody. But when they're talking about right now in 2022, if I want to go sleep with a woman today and not know her, it's very easy.
Because of Instagram
Just because of
or social media?
I'm not.
Is it just,
No.
is that for you or is that for any man?
Nah, it's for most men if they know how to do it right. You know what I'm saying?
So these women, these random women, are you meeting them in real life or are you meeting them on the internet?
No, I'm saying like if I go out today, we go out to New York City tonight.
Oh, you're talking about in real life.
In real life, if we go out to New York City, me and Joy go out to New York tonight. And I bring me and my homies, right here, I'm not saying any names. My homies out here, right here. We all go out together. If we truly, truly want to do something, we will make something happen because the mentality of some women have been so viral. Like, let's just say like a lot of women think like that. So we have to do less.
So you're telling me that women are expecting less and willing
They're requiring
to give
less.
more?
No. They're requiring
They're
less.
requiring less.
They're requiring less.
This
I
must
don't
be
have
the new school women.
That's what I'm saying.
young women.
But what you got to realize too is like you're saying men in the dating world that don't want to value your time or care to actually put in enough time to get to know you, and that's only because there's a lot of women that don't care about that. So he's like, okay, if this is easier, I'm gonna take the easy route.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with that, you know, if that's what you're looking for, but to me that is shocking. And I'm just wondering,
it's trashy.
Why?
Definitely trashy.
Why? What is it with the younger generation of women that is forcing them to feel like guys don't have to do anything to get them?
All you have to have is look like you got a couple dollars. To be honest, you have look like you have a couple dollars. You can do it a lot.
I believe it's the internet. I believe the internet is messing up everybody's head. It's destroying the whole dating world because people are just looking at women like you're looking at a menu. You scroll. Oh, I like this one. Let me slide in her DMs. Oh, and then she's like, oh yeah, okay, come on over. Let's. You know, it's ridiculous.
I can't deny it.
The internet is why these women are thinking the way that they're thinking. And
But here's the thing: what a man's access is, and a woman's, see, at the end of the day, excluding something very extreme, at the end of the day, a man has no access inside of a woman unless she grants it.
That's so true.
You understand?
Yeah.
So
women have all the power, basically.
they have the power to realistically control how far this tonight goes. Most times, you know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking about extreme situations. So with that being said, it's almost like women compete with other women. Mm-hmm. That's why I believe it's become so easy, and that's why I believe good women who force you to get to know them only lose in the beginning, but they win in the end.
Oh, absolutely.
They'll lose in the beginning, but they'll win in the end. You know, and the beginning part is always hard. And you got to think about, too, like now you have a whole situation. A whole situationship. Their whole situationship is you have a man that you now have a child with that does not want to be monogamous. And now you got to invite, see, you 5 years ago was different. Mm-hmm. Now you have to invite another man. And I'm somebody who had a kid with somebody who has a kid. Mm-hmm. And it's a whole different mindset that man has to have. So now you done shrink your options, if you want me to be honest with you.
Really?
You shrink them, yeah. Not a lot of men are willing to deal with kids already being in the picture, just like not a lot of women are dealing with it.
You know what's so interesting about that is I prefer a man who already has a child as well.
Before?
Now. Now I don't want anyone who
Yeah.
doesn't have any children because I don't want any more children.
We're
I'm
in the
happy
same
with my
pool
one.
now.
Exactly.
Joy, we're in the same pool now. Trust me.
Right,
Like, but
before I didn't want a man who had children because I didn't have any children.
And now
I want a man with children. I prefer someone who already has children. I don't want any pressure for me to make any babies.
Oh, you don't want any more kids?
Me personally, I would prefer not to have any more children. And if I were to have any, it would have to be in someone else's body. I'm not producing any more children in this body.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kim Kardashian style for the next one. If there is ever going to be a next one. But to get back to our topic of women adding value, I think that is an interesting point that I do believe is important to a lot of men, is a woman being willing and able to produce a child. If a man wants a child, or if they don't have any children, like, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's a little weird when I meet a woman who says she doesn't want any children. I'm just like, what kind of woman are you? Do you have a heart in there? Like, what's going on? So I think that's
actually makes
important in a relationship too. Like, is this woman willing to give me a baby or not?
Shit, I mean, and it is. Look, for the men that you're dealing with, sometimes, like me, I have a kid. Men that have a kid, sometimes they're like, yo, I'm good with what I got.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I can see
like,
that.
yo, listen, I'm good with what I got. But if I know for a fact, like, I had my heart set on having 3 children. I don't have 3 children. But if I was dealing with somebody with 0 children, for me, it would be a deal breaker. So I could definitely see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
What do you think of a woman who says, I don't want any children, and they don't have any children?
This is a no judgment zone.
Absolutely.
But I think that there's a certain level of self-entitlement that happens when people don't want to have children, which is, I guess, it's cool depending on your preference. But for me, it doesn't work. I'm a very selfless person, and I tend to spread myself thin for all those that I do love and truly care about, even if it's at the cost of my own, detriment. I'm willing to do so. So that's just how I am, So like when I see somebody who doesn't want to have it, and I feel as though, men, I feel like we are here to procreate. So like I said, this is a no judgment zone. So if a woman is not willing to do her aspect in the procreation, I feel like there's a lot of men that probably have that problem with women when he doesn't want to have kids and she does want to have kids on the flip end of the spectrum. One thing I will say is that a child, this is why I say your situation is totally different. A child bonds you differently with the parent. Granted, if you had it a certain type of way.
I don't take any proposal serious without a ring. Guys talk all that shit. Let me see the ring. Let me see put the money up. But so no, I've never been proposed to ever.
But yo, all right, Joyce. Like I had so much to say, but it was so. This is a knot. So I'm like trying to untangle. Yeah, because Joy, what if I told you that? Have you had a guy? Okay, I want you to be like think for this. You've been talking to this guy for 20 years. You liked him for 20 years. However much you like him, have you had a guy opposite of him like you the same amount that you like him?
I'm sure. I'm sure I've had several guys that liked me the way that I like him. And I didn't like them that way. And
is it because you were too invested over here, or is it because they were lacking what he was possessing?
I would say that they were lacking what he was possessing.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say like I've been like pursuing this guy for 20 years straight. I mean,
you've been dealing with him.
I've been dealing with him for that long, but I was living my life. I had a very fun
healthy
20s
life.
and 30. I had a lot of fun in my day. So it wasn't until I hit like my 30s that I started wanting, becoming ready. But during that time when I was doing my thing, being young and having fun, it was a lot of guys that were madly in love that would have definitely married me. I could be married and had 5, 10 kids already.
It'd been the wrong person.
But if the chemistry is not there, there's nothing you can do to make chemistry. It's either there or it's not. And I'm not that type of person to just stay with someone because of what they have or even what they can do for me. Like, to me, how you feel, how that person makes you feel, it's everything.
Yeah.
To the point that it makes everything else irrelevant.
So why not? I asked this one time before on this show, and I think that is such a great question. If this person is possessing a chemistry that could keep you around for 20 years, there's a lot of people not even alive that long.
That's true.
Right? He could keep you around for 20 years and keep you wanting him for 20 years. It's way different, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where you're having birthdays with him and be like, yo, what's up? Like, let's be for real, right? Why not why not accept the flaws that he does have? At what point do you start to sacrifice something that you truly, because this is something that you truly want, and this is something that you truly want. However, they do not parallel with each other.
Exactly.
So you're gonna have to make a decision to either go left or go right.
Exactly.
So, which, like...
The decision that I have already made, that I have to be realistic about what's happening in my life at this point, and that is that I am going to be in my situation until I find a better one.
But do you think that, and this is my thing that I was trying to ask you before, maybe I didn't put it in the proper context, is sometimes when you're too present in other situations, you can't fully embody new situations. Like, there's an analogy. Do we have like a piece of paper, just a small piece of paper, right?
Oops.
Okay, well, thanks. Right? All right. There's an analogy that I learned, this is like 6 years ago. Open your hand.
Okay.
All right, close it. Tight. Hold it tight. Right? Keep holding it. Hold it tight. Like,
It's tight.
hold it tight,
It's
tight.
really tight.
Hold it tight,
Oh,
tight.
it's so tight. Nothing else.
All right,
is
relax.
going
It's going
Okay.
crazy. No, all right, but now relax your hand.
Okay.
Open it. Moral of the story is, I could not have fit this piece of paper in if you was holding on to this that tight.
So true.
So how can you be able to accept an abundance if you're still holding on to what's so small?
That's so true. You're absolutely right. And I don't know what I am going to do, but I know that I am not willing to sacrifice my goals and my relationship goals for this person. I know that for a fact. I know that I'm not going to wait on him forever. I know that at some point I'm going to have to find and have what I want for myself, even if it doesn't involve him. But you're absolutely right. How am I going to connect to somebody else if I'm so attached to somebody else?
Yeah, and the thing is, you know this already though. See, I could look at you and tell you that you've done heard it, you done thought it, you done said it, you done breathed it already. You already know this.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, I mean, at this point in time, you see how life has to work is that you have to find a way to have a balance because you still have a child with him now.
Exactly. And that's why when people, are not comfortable about people with recent baby
Joy,
mothers,
I
baby
could look at you and
daddies,
tell you, like, you're not going to stop this. I know
am
you're not
going
to
to
stop.
find someone
No,
that
you're going to
matches
find
me,
somebody.
and we will stop.
You
at that
might
point.
have found them already is the
No,
point.
I haven't.
You didn't see him.
I haven't.
He was here. He was like, hi, Joy, it's me, it's me. You're like, you're dumb. I'm away.
No, absolutely. I believe that at some point I am going to attract what I'm supposed to attract. You know what they say to do when you want someone, you want to attract someone? Work on yourself. Work on yourself. And at some point, it is going to come to you. And that's what I believe is going to happen.
You know that there's also something that they say, and it's called getting in your own way.
I'm getting in my own way.
Of course you are.
So what would you would just stop talking to this person?
It's hard.
I mean, how when you're attached, like I said, with the child? How?
See, listen, my child is 11 months. I'm still figuring this out.
Well, your child's a baby.
But yeah, my child's a baby. So, but I mean, my thing is, and I learned this from my guy, right? There's something called pragmatic meditation. And basically what that means is to move along the lines of the place for the destination. You have to move to the places that your destination can exist or can lead you. So let me give you an example. If I wanted to have a great business, maybe I should have an office space and an office in a space where there are great business people that can teach me and then take me forward. So what I would do if this was me and I was you, I would put myself in a position where the people that I want to attract, I can attract without blocking them. Is I would cut off all sexual ties that you have. And you're a Cancer that we talked about, and I know how sexual cancers are, and I know it's a passionate chemistry, and it's lit as fuck, but you need to cut that shit out.
And become a nun?
Yes, yes, because you got to think about it. You have one or two sacrifices in life right now. You have the sacrifice of dealing with a non-monogamous man for the rest of your life, even though you believe in monogamy, or you have the sacrifice of severing ties with him and finding what you truly want. And it's not going to be easy, but you've already invested too much time into something that is not going to be the outcome that you want. So what you have to do is you have to stop having sex. Because you personally, and I don't know you, but I know you, you personally cannot allow another person to really truly feel all of you, because a good portion of you are still over here. And you won't even really look. Even if you do see, you won't look. It's the same thing as listening and hearing. There's a difference between seeing and looking, right? So if I were you, this is what you asked me, right? I would sever ties sexually. I would minimalize communication and really find a way to regroup, regather your identity of, your futuristic love ideologies, whatever that idealism is. And, you have to like, if this was, here, take this, hold this. If you were him and I was you, take it back, and go this way. But at the same time, be respectful. That's what I would do if you asked me, and I'm just telling you.
Easier said than done. How do I break up with this situation that I'm in? I want to break up now. What do I do?
All right. You want my honest opinion?
Yes.
I'm not the best at this. I was never a good breaker-upper when I really, really liked you. So what I would do is I would force you to break up with me.
Oh, by being really bad.
Whatever you don't like is what I have to do. And that's not the best advice. It's not the best advice, but what it does do is it leaves you with no choice. And sometimes having no choice is better than having a choice.
And it also makes it mutual, the breakup.
Low key, subconsciously.
Yeah.
Listen, if he has a best friend, you do your dirt with a best friend, he will never look at you the same.
Oh, that's a really good way to break up.
I'm saying, and if he accepts that, then you know that he's open for open relationships, and maybe if y'all gonna coexist, that's what you guys have to accept. But what I'm saying is, that was like reaching out on a limb, but to break up is an art, and it takes one or two things, and I believe the first thing is leaving yourself with no choice when you know you truly can't do it, which is not always recommended. I think that's a last resort. The second thing I would say is, damn, I had it at the tip of my tongue. Give me a second. The second thing I would...
Best friend, Rico?
If that's what it takes,
that was a good one.
You gotta think like
that will really make somebody hate you and not want nothing to do with you.
I don't know yet, because I had to say the best friend because I don't know her man's situationship, but I know that he's realistic enough to be like, whatever, you slept with one guy, I don't really care. I can get over this. I didn't slept with 100 women.
That's the only way it would hit him is if it was a friend.
Something close. But that's a last resort. That's something that you truly can't do. But what you really got to do is really if you actually reinvest into yourself enough, your focus will supersede what you have with him.
Yeah.
You have a son or a daughter?
Son.
You have a son, right? Let me ask you a question. Right? I believe, and I don't know, that you are probably the type of woman that your son would want to marry. right? By all the things that you possess. But how would you feel if your son carried another girl along for 20 years and he did what, and you told me to lead by example. So you have to actually separate that tie to let him know that that's not okay.
Okay. And not only that, but I don't want my son growing up thinking it's okay to have deep relationships with multiple women. It's not okay.
I mean, listen, we're not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. Like, but it's okay if you believe that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But I just think that it's this conversation went way left than what I thought about it.
Did.
But I was just thinking because, you know, you're in a situation where I kind of feel bad because I think that a lot of good people see only the good in the worst people, and it actually hinders them for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that when that happens, it's unfortunate, but it seems to be the reality of the situation. Joy, I get real great energy from you. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm an energy person, so I get real great energy from you. I hope you don't think anything that I said was
No, I
bad.
think everything you said was the truth. You know, I need to hear it. I needed to hear that.
Are you gonna are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna work
though?
on it.
I don't like that.
I'm work on
Are you
it.
gonna do it? Yo, Joy, do I have to call you every
can't
week?
just-
Like, Joy, what's your status?
I'm gonna work on it.
Joy, I got
And not only that, when this comes out, all the other guys I talk to, they're gonna be mad.
like, what the
They'll
fuck?
be like, I thought you been stopped talking to him.
Holy shit.
I would be in trouble. I would be in trouble.
Joy, wait, time out, Joy. Yo, you really love this man. Yo, Joy, I'm not gonna lie to you, this was great. Honestly, I appreciate you being transparent with us and me, you know, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm Rico and I got your back.
And I appreciate all your excellent advice. I learned a lot from this conversation. Yeah.
And I hope that they learn from us about what a woman can actually bring to the table and the more valuable aspect. We'll see you next time at 8 at the Table.